Good afternoon. This is a special report from WBRN Radio in Boston and the Boston Red Network. The subject of our episode here, the October surprise, put a question mark there, on the 28th of October 2016. The FBI released a statement today that additional emails have been located on another device in an unrelated case. But the case in itself is related to people known to the Hillary Clinton, the former representative Anthony Weiner. He was a representative from New York, ran for mayor there, almost made a very good showing of it, and was married to a top aide of Hillary Clinton, Hama Abedin. And they shared evidently whatever device it was that was seized. Now, this was an investigation into Weiner on a alleged association with a 15-year-old. A totally different kind of investigation. We're assuming this is a desktop unit of some type. Perhaps it is not, but they shared a device and emails travel there. Now, what is curious about this, particularly from an IT standpoint, that what we have here is the Clinton email server, and of course you have logs. You have many logs related there. So if an email comes across the server, it is logged, no matter where it comes from or is going to. Thus, if emails from Clinton or were logged through that server, the record would have been there. Now, what we don't know is how long those records were there. And it's not only the Clinton server, but other servers or networks that would have been part of the network. In other words, the ISP would have many of these logs. Now, I don't know how long that ISP would keep it, but depending on what gateways he used. For instance, if he was using, say, AT&T or Sprint or another third-party, lesser-known network, etc., logs would be there, and you get the picture. There could be several different networks that are used as, say, for instance, a backup. And if you are, say, using AT&T, one of the larger networks, you would have that redundancy there. That would open it for the FBI clearly to know where those emails were going. And that information would have been available to them from the last instance that Ms. Abedin sent an email there. And if other information, in other words, if this information, say, was received on her desktop or whatever it was, we don't know what they were using. He could have been using Gmail or whatever third-party email service he was using. And from one to the other, they would have had that information. So what has appeared today, and this is from Carney, informed the congressional leaders that the agency would take appropriate investigative steps to determine whether the newly discovered emails contained classified information to assess their importance to the server probe. Now, the problem here is the legal aspect of this. It's only an investigation, doesn't mean very much. No charges have been filed, and if there were charges, the referral would be to the Department of Justice. And that would take a long time. The election would be over. But on the political side, the impact there will go to the Fixes article to start assessing some of that. Fortunately for the monster, many people have already voted. Now, what this will do is bring the enthusiasm level of some of the Trump people up. Some of the independent Republicans that were either staying home or whatever perhaps would go to Trump. But it doesn't relieve the condition of the Trump campaign. Now, according to the Post article, and some of this information also came from the New York Times, was jointly used by both of them. That's what somebody, quote unquote, with knowledge, always hated the anonymous sources. So we'll say this was a desktop and not a mobile device. Now, in a brief letter there, he just said an unrelated case. He obviously was not related to her, but the information was found. Now, in July, the FBI says that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. Well, there's not a case there. When you start dealing with classified information, what you're actually dealing with is levels of classification. And the State Department has its own classification system, the Department of Defense, and etc. There's so many different types here. Thus, these continue on. Noted in the Post article, from a technical standpoint, the investigation was never formally closed, but it was there. Now, you had these congressional investigations going on there. Excuse me, I keep mispronouncing her name, had worked for Clinton since the 90s. She's vice chair of the campaigns, exchanged thousands of emails with Clinton while serving as deputy chief of staff at the Department of State, and was routed through. Now, routing it through there doesn't mean very much at all. She's separated from Vina following one of his little escapades here, and he's been in quite a few of those. Now, Carney said that Clinton was extremely careless in the handling of classified information. Not certain about that, because classified information evidently went through a different server and not through her email server, and that distinction has to be made. But when the director of the FBI throws this out there, the only thing that the public sees is, well, did she, like a fellow asked me at the market a few weeks ago, did she actually violate the law by handling classified information? Absolutely not. They have not found any indication that Hillary Clinton handled any type of classified information thus far. And it would not be unusual to have an email, say, that was classified at one time, declassified, and you get it. It's all up in the air. But Donald Trump, DJ Trump, was addressing his supporters in New Hampshire, hailed the announcement, saying he has great respect for the agency's decision to right a horrible mistake. It wasn't a horrible mistake that they made. It's just that they found some additional emails. The right-wing Peter King called it a bombshell. He naturally would. He wants to get it all out there. The Clinton campaign, through John Podesta, said they want to get it all out there also. And the campaign manager there get it all out there too. Now, part of the problem here, and this has been hanging around for a very long time, the Clinton email server has been around, mishandled by the Clinton campaign. Nothing much you can say about that. And when you have this type of candidate, you are subject to surprises. And in a quote-unquote what is turning into a turnout campaign, you can expect to have those kinds of things going on. Now, to fix the rising premiums in the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, is one of the things that has come out here. I don't think that hurts Hillary Clinton that much, because Hillary Clinton is not President Obama. But the email server situation does confuse things. In the letter sent, we went over that, found on the computer there. Not unusual there. There would be other emails perhaps on other computers out there. Now, this is the effects of it. Undecided voters, how many of those we have? Loosely, especially affiliated Republicans, the Republicans themselves. And this is one of the things to look at. The Republican National Committee intertwined with the Trump campaign Previs, the chair, coming out of the trailer with Trump's data man. And their data mining effort, very sophisticated data mining efforts, that's based upon the same methodology that commercial marketers use. How effective that is, very difficult to say. For the past year, and this is from the fix here, a strong majority of Americans said that the word honesty and trustworthiness. The problem with honesty and trustworthiness is this, and this has always been what we call petty moralizing, that the game of politics is a dirty game, and it always will be a dirty game, and the RNC is a bunch of dirty operators. But what you look at is the programs that the people put forth, which they loosely call policy. Would it benefit the nation from one set or from another set? Now, Trump and company would like to open up the environmental gates, in other words, pollute the rivers, streams, etc., to make a few quick bucks. In other words, make $1 million and do $1 billion worth of damage. Is what we see going on now in North Dakota. These types of things do much harm to the nation. The militarization going on there, the attack on the protesters in North Dakota. Some have said some have even been waterboarded, harassed, etc., as opposed to what happened out in Portland, Oregon, the acquittal of the local terrorists that took over, of all things, a wildlife refuge. That's where birds reside and not terrorists. It's an important distinction there. Well-armed people that go in, take something over willy-nilly, destroy the reserve, intimidate the employees, and then are rewarded with not guilty pleas. Now that is jury nullification at its best. But let me get back here. This is several. The ABC poll here that 48% disapprove or strongly of her handling of the email question, but that 48% doesn't understand it. The Democratic base will be less energetic. That is a highly questionable observation there. Much of the Democratic base, a lot of the Democratic base in the quote-unquote swing states have already voted. That is a very good thing. And as far as Trump's campaign, that's a no-brainer. The Republican base will be energized, hasn't made it easy. This is his observation. They're attacking Paul Ryan. But that would be the traditional Republican base. Many of the leaders, former President George H.W. Bush, his son G.W. Bush, Jeb Bush, his wife, his mother, etc., have said they are voting for Hillary Clinton. Now, they are cognizant of the shortcomings of Hillary Clinton. Even the market went down today. That would tell the average voter where the business community stands, because Donald Trump, DJ Trump, has been cast as a sleazy operator. Now, if you're going to do petty moralizing, do you take the sleazy operator or the fast-shuffling politician from the other borough in New York? She's in Brooklyn, he's in Manhattan. And that's one of the things you have to look at here. And from the Monmouth University Polling Institute, Dr. Murray, unless the FBI closes this investigation one way or another next week, the likely impact will be to cut into Clinton's margin, with the biggest effect being on the down ballot. Now, then the outcome of the presidential election, down ballot, Senate and House races. Much important, 11 days left, and that's the reason we're doing this special broadcast. On our Twitter feed, you will find the information there. Let's quickly go out to Portland, Oregon, because that case is a very interesting case. Let's make a couple of points on it. One we've been covering from its inception out there when they did the takeover at the wildlife reserve there in Haney County. Haney County. Let me see if I can find